What's going on? Let's see here. What's going on, y'all? It's Greg. Greg said it here. Live here. Shout out to everybody stepping in here on this wonderful Sunday here. Our once a week live so far. Hope everything's been going well with your week. As I said, happy 4th of July. We didn't have anything this Thursday. B Watts out of town, so we took off. But make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Once again, we here. Colorado is about a month and a half away. We know in a couple of weeks we're gonna be back in fall camp. We're gonna get to see some live action. We're gonna get to see the boys and the equipment. It's gonna be an interesting thing. I think the last time we seen the guys, it was around spring, probably mid-spring, because everybody didn't play in the spring game. But we got a lot of newcomers coming on, some key figures, especially on that D-line that we didn't get to see in equipment, and even some more offensive line people. Pretty much all our running backs are back in here. So we have 3 new running backs. It's like we starting all over again. What's going on? Swag boy, what's going on? Appreciate it. What is that? Feel it. Appreciate it. Man. So we got a whole new thing. We got a lot of new secondary. Excuse me. Secondary members and new cornerbacks, young transfers. It's gonna be a brand new everything. So we here. We've been patient. Everybody said, I can't wait. We here at this point. And you're gonna look up a month from now, it's the beginning of August, and then from there it's the beginning of September. So we here. It's not what we waiting on, it's here at this point. And just looking at everything this week, like I said, make sure y'all subscribe. Y'all see some of the videos I do throughout the week. I have some videos and shorts off of those videos. And one of the things that I kind of pointed out was, the North Dakota situation. Some people seen it, some people didn't. They kind of deleted it. And what's going on, Nate? Happy Sunday. And we saw that my mic is in reverse here. We saw that the North Dakota situation was interesting because it's like people try to make it about Colorado. I didn't necessarily see it. Maybe they were trying to mock, maybe they wouldn't. But it's just interesting, the whole narrative with North Dakota and how they making like Colorado is going to have a challenge with them, where they should be concerned. I mean, anytime you step on the field, you're not going to play. It's football, and you know, things can happen. So you don't want to. You go against a strong team, and you're not that strong, they can beat you, especially when you go against a lower level team. But it's rare that a lower level team beats a strong team. Even if they catch them slipping, you got to be ready to play. I don't see why Colorado wouldn't be ready to play. I really don't, because they have so many people that have something to prove. You've been so disrespectful. They got linemen, got something to prove. They have defensive linemen, got something to prove. You didn't recognize them. You got linebackers, you really didn't respect them. You got running backs, you looked over. And you got coaching staff, a bunch of people who got something to prove. They haven't been the most experienced, starting with the head coach down. So Colorado really have no reason to be comfortable with the North Dakota. For what? I think at the end of the day, Colorado is just like everybody coming to play Colorado. I think this year they got something to prove every week. Shador got something to prove every week for all the disrespect and overlooking of him. And Travis got something to prove every week because everybody want to prove that he's not who he say he is. That's how it is. When you're the great, people say they're not going to throw at him. They threw at him last year. They threw at him in the sweat. They're going to throw at him. The ego can't stop it. They got to prove that he's not whatever. And it is what it is. Nobody is going to have the easy way. Everybody should have a chip on their shoulder because at the end of the day, nobody on that team is being respected. Nobody. And I think that North Dakota State is going to get the bad end of that because nobody need to take any kind of sympathy on them, regardless. Because you got something to prove, just like they claim they got something to prove. So how can they? I don't know what dent mean. It must be some slang, but I mean, I just think that when you look at Travis is the type of guy who he put on. They say he put on like 17 pounds of muscle. I can see it because all them boys really look good, man. Them linemen, I mean, in a short period of time, they develop. They eating good. They got to be lifting good. Jordan Seaton to me, I remember seeing his arms. They can deny Travis by the fact that he at Colorado. I think if Travis was at Georgia, he'd be the biggest thing anyway because he him. But I think it'll be a different tone. Like it'll be almost like a mystical figure if he was at like Georgia, one of those schools like that. He took a real risk. It's a high risk, high reward to come play with Colorado because they were new of developing. So he wasn't in the championship, and also with a coach that they didn't respect and that they was taking shots at. If he was at a team that was kind of under the radar or a team that they respected, like a Georgia, and then he would almost be seen like the typical great Heisman candidate without all the other stuff. But they know they can't give him the respect that he deserves without also giving respect to the person they shooting at, which is Coach Prime. And with that, the title today is I See Why They Hate Colorado. And we can look at it a lot of different ways. I see why they hate Colorado. I do. Because when you're a hater, it's easy to see with just your tone, just the comments you make, but also the behavior of Colorado that triggers it. You know that's what they hate on. So I was looking at these guys, they going on trips. Everybody probably going on trips, but Colorado put their stuff on camera, right? They got well off and they got reached the people and all these other, they had their own blogs and they showing you that lifestyle and people hate it because they don't want to make it about football. They make it about more than football anyway. But then when you rub it in their face with what they point out, oh, they in the studio, oh, they are, on yachts, they going on, they ain't work, they ain't not focused, they got the girls with them, everything that the other kids do, but these guys gonna do it at a different level, especially Coach Prime kids. And you send a lifestyle, and it just further this jabs at people who are already jealous. That's what it really is. They're jealous of the fact that these college kids live in a certain way, and they put it out there for you to see it, which further poke at you and your unhappiness. Whether they happy or not, it triggers your unhappiness because they at least look happy. And the reality is that when you look at Coach Prime, he got his friends on the yacht. You shooting at him. He living his best life. He living his best life. They in Miami, then they go to Colorado, then they go to Miami, then they go to Texas. I mean, wow. You looking at a lifestyle. It's really fitting a well-off media. I always, why he choose that name? He's showing a well-off lifestyle. I mean, the other stuff they would show the gold chains and the big penthouse, and they're like, oh, these guys not really no football players. And when the other players, they jealous. You had people in the locker room, at their own locker room, jealous, and you try to weed that out. But then the people who playing against them, I gotta, it's almost like growing up when you were a person who was a street person. You don't want to let no bougie or no suburban person whoop you in those sports or even whoop you period, because it's like it's a mindset, a street mindset of if you're better, if you come from a better situation than me, then there's no way. It's like I got to be better at you in something. Really, it's like you got it going on, but you don't got the grit and the hustle I have. So let me go ahead. They say get them lights up for sure. Make sure you get them lights up. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Appreciate that, Jeremiah. Uh, but it's like, who can relate to that? Like when you from the quote unquote hood, you didn't want nobody suburban, like they ain't tougher than you. They're not more athletic than you. And then I guess that's your way of balancing it out. But now we look at it differently. Now we look at it like, oh, you from money, you got more resources, you got better training, you got better opportunity, better exposure. But when I came up, the people, like, well, it was a complex, well, it was true. You felt like, oh, they can't beat me. They look pretty boys, or they look, little good. They didn't have to grind, and that could be the case. Sometimes, coming from the bottom make you a dog, underdog, like Rocky. Sometimes having everything takes that dog out of you. But at the same time, now we starting to see that it can work for that person when they can get better training, better coaching, better everything, better diet, better everything, opportunity. And that's the case that we see with Shador. Everybody like to point out, what the hater was. He got all this training. He still is. That's first thing they throw up. He got his own personal training quarterback. He should be this, but he is. They hate on the resources that he had. Your dad is the coach. Well, dad always was the coach. They undermine everything he accomplished because of the fact that his dad is the coach. He come from money, and he had the best training and the best exposure. Da, da, da. And they make it a negative, and they make it where he doesn't get credit. Like, you didn't earn it. He's on the field, but you say he didn't earn it. And that's what we seeing, the tone with Colorado. When you look at Colorado, you don't want to see them win on the field and off the field. They got to lose somewhere. So you can't stop them from winning off the field. They're doing fashion shows. They're doing all these NILs, and they're doing commercials, and they coaches doing it. Doggone it, you're not finna win off the field and beat us on the field, because we had to suffer. So we the ones that need to win on the football field. Our coach is the one. He can't go on yachts. He getting good money too, but he ain't got that lifestyle. So the coach is jealous. Like, he getting the best of both worlds. I mean, this man living a celebrity life. It's like when he was in Colorado. When they say Sweat Boy, they say, who is Sweat? He ain't Sweat. It's like he ain't Sweat because he ain't had to suffer the Sweat lifestyle. He just get to come here and call himself Sweat because, he coaching here. But he come from, the suburbs, quote unquote. He come from Florida State. He come from the NFL. He don't know nothing about what we went through. Yet he get there, they take it in the form of a mockery. And the other coaches who he's going against, they're doing the same thing. They taking it as if Coach Prime is not one of them, because he didn't have to pay the price that they had to pay. And he got perks and privileges that they don't. And he do. You can't take that away. You can't take away from the fact that he do have perks. He came with the perks, you know? These allergies here. He said he got his back broken and didn't cry about it. Speaking of back broken, I mean, what do you mean by back broken? When I see back broken, yeah, his team that performed, but I also remember, like Keyshawn pointed out, the people teamed up, put resources to make sure they was better equipped to beat Colorado and expose Colorado and put multiple minds together. I also seen that, you know, the referees had them good old boy referees out there just kind of like undercutting him, like he couldn't catch a break. And he never really got out there and called the referees out. You know, he never really got down and said, "You referees ain't, you know, y'all da, because then it looked like he was complaining and he was a sore loser." So I consider that back broken, right? What's going on, our Jizzle? Prime is swag. I approve that he was. I approve that when he was in my city. Yeah, I mean, you know, he did a lot. He did a lot for swag in a short period of time. He brought a lot of resources, a lot of exposure, not just to JSU, but to the SWAT. All the eyeballs was on the SWAT because he was there. He brought more publicity in a couple of years he was there than they probably had in the last couple decades. I mean, everybody was watching it. They was on TV more. More people was watching the games. More people was watching HBCU football, SWAT football. It is a difference, by the way. People lump all HBCU. It's dumb. You got HBCUs that's like Division II. You got Division I HBCUs. You don't have no Power 5. That's what it was all talking about. We need to become Power 5, but it was FCS. And these people, you know, who were familiar with HBCU, some wasn't, but they all kind of flocked there because they wanted to see what was going on with Coach Prime, what he was going to pull off. And it was an exciting time. So, you know, SWAT, if they don't value, even after he left, there's people know about the SWAT that never knew about it because of him. Period. I even remember when he came to Colorado, the people from Colorado watched the SWAT versus me at, you know, Celebration Bowl. Because they was like, Coach Prime, we want to see what Shador can do, we want to see what Travis do. All these people was watching because he was coming there. You know, never heard of these schools, the HBC, a lot of these people. All right, get the yard done. Yes, sir. And then all these yards, you know, in Georgia, it's been raining and it's been hot. And then, you know, everything was burning up. Then we finally got some rain. So I didn't really get to do my yard, but I got to cut mine too. I'm looking at it right now, right over there. I get to it. But the grass kind of been stunting because it didn't rain, you know. But in the reality is, Colorado, under Coach Prime, I'm going to say something. You know, I always say something crazy every show. They never going to get the respect that you think they should and could get. Win, lose, or draw. And all they got to do is win. That's a lie. Because if it was logical, then they would be using more logic and less emotion. The reality is the stuff they saying about him and the truth they use, that's just what they got available to use against him. They just want to use against him. That's it. That don't mean that you can change their mind. They just taking what they can grab. And what they can grab is, oh, y'all didn't win, y'all lying, y'all can't coach, y'all made dumb coaches. Whatever they can grab, they gonna grab. But at the end of the day, they don't want to change their mind. They don't want to change it. They don't want to be convinced. We can't convince them. And I think that they're gonna always undermine, they're gonna always question whatever he do. If you know, should do a goal in the NFL, they're gonna just say, oh, we're gonna see what he can do in the NFL. They're just gonna move the goal ball or the goalpost. I bet he won't succeed there. And every mistake, everything he do and don't do, they're gonna nitpick it. And then if Coach Prime at Colorado next year, they're gonna say, well, can he do it without his sons there? He only can win if he win. His sons. He only win with his sons. Can he coach somebody other than his sons? It's always something to prove. Now you can't do daddy ball. Now this and that, this and that. What offense gonna look like now? The Shador not there playing daddy ball. Well, they're gonna be throwing shots the whole time, and it can look different depending on whatever they can grab, whatever they can use. They can use it, whether your children there or not. Oh, they can be in the NFL. They're gonna be using against Coach Prime. Well, Shador and Shiloh over there. Can't Coach Prime focus. His kids over there. They're gonna use it, man. They're gonna use it at the end of the day. And it's all bogus chatter. But ain't that what the media do lately? I mean, we talk about journalism. Ain't that what the media do? People just like to clap it up for the media when it's saying what they either agree with or what they think they agree with. Media be bogus all the time, and they can jump on a person's head and just tear them up, and it can be a bold-faced lie. But if you okay with them lying on that person, you ain't they're gonna try to verify it. So when they do it to Coach Prime, he ain't the only one that get dogged out in the media with bold-faced lies and manipulate what he's trying to do and take stuff out of context. That's what the media has been weaponized to do. It's not about being neutral or getting both sides. It's about uh, doing the work of one side against the other. And usually, what we're seeing is it's against people who are system breakers. It's people who are opposing and exposing the system. That's who typically gets dogged out by the system. Common sense will show you that's what this is. Why would the system attack you unless you are an enemy of the system? And when they just nitpick at you like every second and got every story about you, and you got these two extremes. You got the people who love you, you got the people that hate you. And the people that hate you like a clown because what they hate you for? Because the media told you to hate you. I mean, they ain't did nothing to you. You don't know them personally. Why are you so emotionally involved? We can act like it only happened to Coach Prime. But one thing that we see that's common when you see people in that situation is they trying to expose something. And they usually have a little cocky personality with it, and they better. Because the way these people drag your name, your family through the mud and try to weigh you down to make you quit or try to make you I guess you're gonna surrender at some point and bow to them and join sides with them versus exposing them. Like we see so many movies like that. Like, oh, we gonna blackmail you. We gonna expose. I remember that movie Enemy State with Will Smith back in the day. It's like, boy, they can come at you real hard. We seen TV shows. This is a thing that's done. People can manipulate you. Start off with just your emotions, then they can start hitting your bank account. They can start hitting your freedom. They can start doing stuff on many different levels, and they can even threaten lives. We know people who went up against systems and got took out. Everybody like to talk about Martin Luther King, and they looking at all the wrong stuff. You don't even know the true history of what was really going on. And so I feel like my people who like to talk about the black, because when he got took out, he wasn't talking about black no more. And that's why he got took out. The black stuff was cool, but once he started talking about bigger issues, oh, everybody combined to take him out. And that's when you're wrecking a system. It's a dangerous thing. I don't even think I was planning on even going here, but I'm here. Since I'm here, can I get a witness? Catch it on my truck. Who they try to pick and choose who you should like. Oh, that deception, Decepticon is on it, man. He gonna tell you what you like. You grown. I'm doggone grown. Ain't it amazing? Y'all see, y'all got me in my bag now. Y'all don't did it. It's y'all fault now. Yeah, y'all make me go on inspiration motivation early today. Look at him. You a grown man, a grown woman, and we in a world with technology. We talking on technology. We talking about technology, social media, right? Social media was created to create social programming. Like before social media, you couldn't spread lies or truth as fast as you can now. You couldn't. You had newspapers, magazines, and it just couldn't move as quick. Internet went out. I'm a generation of internet didn't come out till I was in college, pretty much. And cell phones were just little, calling devices, and it high as a kite. You couldn't be on it all day. So my thing is, we in a world now with social engineering. I'm a sociology major for all your college lovers. I actually have a psychology background and sociology minor because I like this kind of stuff. But they ain't teach me this. I learned this stuff afterwards, right? You social engineering people. Now you have the tools. Now you have Facebook, you have YouTube, you have all these social medias, Twitter, where the good can talk and the bad can talk. And sometimes the good can say stuff and they can censor you. They can call it an algorithm, or they can just straight up censor you. Act like you're in strong delusion if you don't believe that you can be censored. They can block your stuff, but they can flat out block you and kick you off the platform, or they can not gonna make your stuff not be seen. You to be ghosting, like Craigslist back in the day. You put a post up and you're like, hey, I know I posted it. They call it ghosting. You think it's out there, but nobody else see it. And that's what we're looking at. Hit that like button because we in here now. Let me tell you. You say Luther, Netflix addresses this topic. I need to check that out because I actually, I'm gonna tell y'all a little something. I did when I was in college. When I got out of college, I got an interesting little life here. Right? I used to be a event marketer, right? Not a club, but event like corporate event. And then I went to event manager and stuff like that. So I did a tour with CNN. It was a third-party company that I worked with, but the client was CNN. And we did a tour about a couple months, a little under a couple months. And we did an HBCU tour. And we started out of St. Louis, where the company was based out of. And just so happened, I didn't know, I didn't really know what's up, but I know the Black in America was called Black in America. And a Martin Luther King story was a big part of it. And I didn't know that the guy was James, what is his name? Earl Ray? I would say James or Earl Ray, whatever his name, Ray. The guy who was said to kill Martin Luther King was from St. Louis, and I was based out of St. Louis. And he actually went to jail and escaped the mafia and all that. All that stuff was told. I was so surprised with that documentary about how detailed CNN was, because CNN kind of suspicious. Even back then they were. And they were telling a story about how they let the guy out of jail. He put him on the trail, followed Martin Luther King. He didn't even know what he was doing. He just had him follow Martin Luther King. They act like he was doing it on his own, but they had made him as a decoy. He followed Martin Luther King all around. They put him in that hotel right there by where Martin Luther King got killed. The guy didn't even know that he was on Martin Luther King like that. And they say the doggone police, the fire department, the military, the mafia all collaborated on killing Martin Luther King. And they said it in the documentary, not me, not conspiracy. And they showed that his family sued the government and won. And they sued for $1. And it was at the bottom of the New York Times. I was so surprised the level of detail that went. But don't y'all know, Black in America had another one after that, right around the time Obama got elected. And I think they did another one with Latinos. Do y'all know that first Black of America documentary that I worked on? You can't find it nowhere on the internet. Nowhere. That's unheard of. And that documentary was the first and the biggest Black in America documentary I've seen. It. You can't find it nowhere. I was surprised they put that thing out there. I'm bringing it. Cause I wanted y'all did it. Y'all fault. Y'all did it. Yeah, I said it. I said it. I mean, I ain't saying so. I'm not throwing on somebody else. You right. I ain't calling Greg said it from now. I ain't saying it behind. I ain't whispering. Say it with your chest. Bigger than football. I'm gonna tie this thing in. Yeah. The Martin Luther King thing was rough, man, because you really studied what Martin Luther King was doing. Some people claim he was gonna try to run for president. He called it the Poor People's Campaign. He started talking about economics and all that stuff. He started talking about that white stuff. The white people, he was already running with him when he did Selma. He was already, he wasn't against the white like they try to make him. Malcolm X was more like that. And then even after he stopped being racist, they killed him. and we don't know who they is. Well, they say it could be his people did, or they say it could be a conspiracy, somebody from the government did. But we know that it was after him. We saw it in the movie Ali. And Malcolm X went from being pro black to it's a bigger issue, and he stopped being it. Then that took him out. So it's like, as long as you in a little box, people on here be that's cute, man. Racism do exist. Good for you. Bravo. You 40 years behind. But even that was constructed. Somebody created that. See, y'all got me all on. Somebody created that, because black people, white people want to always fight. They actually used to live with each other. That's when the KKK actually was created, to divide the poor, which was everybody, not poor black, poor white. They all lived together, and they started, that whole KKK thing. Go do your research. And that's when the whole division thing came. Because even when slavery came, everybody didn't have slaves. For the brainiacs out there, everybody didn't have slaves. Okay, you couldn't afford it. Basic common sense, guys. Basic common sense. Basic comprehension to tell you everybody didn't have slaves. They couldn't afford it. Okay, so it wasn't a black and white thing. It was a wealth thing. You had to be wealthy, and certain type of people came over here with wealth. I mean, they had it wherever they came from, and it ain't just skin color that determined that. Some of these people had some other affiliations other than white. Just like you can't call everybody white now. Clearly, just because you got white skin, that's not what they classify themselves as, white. They got other labels, and some of them labels you better not use on the internet, or you get Kanye. So this be real. It's deep. Y'all get me into this deep stuff, man. Y'all, we gonna be talking about football and the good old Coach Prime. You know, Martin Luther King was about the money. He called, I think his last little thing, he called it the big payday. I think that was his last sermon that he did, or one of his biggest last sermons. And I know when he was in Memphis, he was meeting with the sanitation workers about equality and economics geniuses, my racial geniuses. He was meeting with sanitation workers. He was doing a rally for their economic status. Is what had nothing to do with black and white. That's what he got killed in Memphis doing. He wasn't there for a black rally. He wasn't there for Black Lives Matter. He was there for he was talking about economics. And that was enough, because he just talked about Vietnam. He was talking about all kinds of stuff that was out of his lane for the certain people. And that's what got Martin Luther King killed, guys. I'm glad we got a history lesson outside of Black History Month. But like I said, I haven't seen that Luther series, but y'all, I appreciate y'all for sharing. I'm gonna check it out. Make Netflix worth something for me. I got my Tanggula box, for y'all, y'all say y'all love to talk about my Tanggula box, but it got everything on it too. But I still have my little Netflix. I still have my little Netflix. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole white thing and black thing never was about European. It's a really American construct. You don't hear Europeans calling themselves white. They call themselves their nationality. Hello, who's next? They say, the buff guys. But they say, think about it, outside of America, who calling themselves a color of a crayon? That just doesn't happen. I mean, people in Jamaica, they don't call themselves black; they call themselves Jamaican. And when you look at European people, they don't call themselves white; they call themselves French, German, Spanish, not Spanish, Italian, or whatever they're, they represent where they from. They ain't got to call themselves a color. They all about the same color. So why would they don't need to call themselves a color? When you Irish and Swedish, whatever you are, you don't have to do that. It was not, it had nothing to do with nationality. It had all to do with this American experiment, when you brought up people over here who didn't have no nationality, and they was all these different names. Who else got all 100 different names but black people? African American, Negro, this, that, color. So that's what these names came in. It had nothing to do with the European. The names had to do with differentiating you from another group. So you say, well, I'm gonna be called black. I don't want to be called Afro. Some people want to be called black instead of Negro and all that. That's why all that came in. You was the only one that had a name. Everybody else knew where they was from. You was kind of, trying to come up with something. That's why when you to this day, you're not calling no Nigerian black. They gonna come over here, they're gonna be Nigerian, they're gonna be Kenyan. You the only one, you same color as them. You the only one that ain't got, so you gonna have to be the crayon color. So that's what colorism came from. Like I say, do y'all research now. Do y'all research now. Come on. Come on. What's going on? What's going on? We don't got spent off into doggone inspirational motivation. They did it. It's y'all fault. It wasn't me. Where we going? Yeah, man. All this stuff, man, gonna pop up, man. It's all in the pot. It's all in the pot for the people who love colorism, and that's all they know. And guess what? The media programs you with that. They throw it in your face every second. And like I say, like I was saying, you a grown man and a grown woman. Yet you let these people tell you who to like and not dislike, and you don't even do your research. You liking somebody who don't even like you, and you hate somebody who helping you, or who represent you, or who trying to look out for you, and you hate them because the people on the big screen told you to hate them. And that Coach Prime falling that, he one of the people falling that, and I mean, that's just what he carried, man. He's been going through that since he was a ball player. And you can say, oh, he deserved it. But who you to say was somebody deserve? I mean, they put on a character, they entertaining, and he got his own personal life. And what he do with his personal life ain't got nothing to do with you. Even if you're an egomaniac, that's his problem. It's not yours. So why do you care? Why do you care how he behaves? Why do you care how he goes about his life? If that's him, that's his choice. That's what I don't get. But it's something else going on when you are rubbed the wrong way by a man who on a TV screen. You don't like it, cut it off. You ain't gonna never meet him anyway. And if you do, you ain't got to. You ain't got to walk up to him. And if you, I mean, what his life got to do with you? You don't like him. You ain't got to. You don't got to sleep with him. You ain't got to make no key decisions to get him out your life. All you got to do is cut the TV off. But you're so involved and so psychotic that you fall in his videos and making comments. You're mentally ill and you need some help, because you ain't got to like everybody. You're a whole grown behind person. This, we got some kids on here. You grown. You ain't got to like Coach Prime. You ain't got to like how he talk. You ain't got to like how he dress. You ain't got to like nothing about him. You don't have to. But when you're jealous, instead of dealing with reality, you'd rather just make it about him. And when you make it about him, you can point out all his flaws. And so it transfer over to the football team. You can say, oh, Colorado, they ain't focused. All they care about is rapping and Yeah. You got the right to critique them. But how far do you really go with this thing? How deep do you really want to go with critiquing before you realize it may be a little deeper? It may be a little deeper than what you put on. Because I'm gonna tell you, somebody getting paid good, somebody pushing the envelope on Coach Prime. Because if his team gonna suck, they gonna suck. The media don't have to determine that. Them on the field determine it. Why do you go and overdrive and overkill to put gasoline on the fire? If they so raggedy, but you know what? What you do know is everybody watching it. So you gonna say, well, I'm gonna get something off of this hype and this publicity. I know people gonna want to read the article who hate them and who love them, and the media riding it. But it's a thin line between you riding it or reporting something and you throwing your little salt in there. It's like, if you're a neutral source, you ask the questions and then you answer the question for the person. Or you ask them a question, then you rebuttaling. Why are you debating with the person you interviewing? You interviewing them to debate them? Is this a debate between you and the person you interviewing? That's where you see journalism go wrong. If you gonna talk about Coach Prime and say, oh, he, you know, doing this, doing that, and you covering the story and you showing all the little extravagance that he is extravagant. He knows he's extravagant, and you do all of that, and then you turn around and make comments about it. Like that's not journalism. Now I can do that. I can do content, whatever, but I'm not a journalist. I'm not interviewing you. I'm not just exposing you to the world. I'm giving commentary. Commentary, you can do it. Now that's not what I choose to do, but what I choose to do is expose. I do expose. That's why I like a Coach Prime, because he's exposing stuff. He's exposing the fact that it's a lot going on. That as far as sees football, from a financial level, from a systematic level, it's a group of people, for whatever reason, whatever their motive is. Maybe it's just something simple as, I control this. This is my mechanism. I control it, and I like this. I like to be able to control where it goes. And when you have an outsider who does things outside of the parameters of my control, it's unsafe for me, because now I can't control it. When you got a guy who can build a football program outside of the parameters of, this is how you do it. Well, you got to go lose for 10 years, go serve on somebody's staff, then, get in good, and maybe the recruits will start respecting you and start coming. You just got the guy who can go get a camera and bring some celebrities and whatever you say, rap music, whatever, connect with the kids. And then they start coming to your school. You ain't even won yet. That's a little scary, because it's like, this guy here, he ain't even won, and he getting top recruits yet. So we know what's gonna happen when he do win, and we know he gonna win if he keep getting these caliber recruits that we all want. If this man and people like him who can use their uniqueness to maneuver the situation, if it's enough for them to get out there, they gonna dominate. When we say dominate, that's scary. They're gonna take over. All the recruits gonna go to them. We ain't gonna be able to compete. We already got a disadvantage. We can't relate to them. They already say that. That's one of the things when we talked about. Let's go down another history lesson. What my folks said: come on, I need your help. Can I get a witness? Whew. He had it last year. They stole it from him. They stole that. I mean, he could have got a couple more wins out of last year, and they stole. They made sure he ain't getting that ball. Okay. I'm gonna preface this. I ain't with all the colorism. It is what it is. I'm not a shallow thinker at all. I can see the big picture and play me. You can't program me to only see one way through one little hole. I see the whole thing. Right. When you look at people like Coach Prime, right, there we go. Help me out. Help me out. Like good old Baptist church. Help me out here. When you look at Coach Prime, what do you see? There's a black man. A black man. He blacker than me. Look at it. Right? And he recruiting black boys. So not only is he black, but he love the culture. He down with the culture. He got kids their age. He got insight. He got advantage. He got advantage. They parents. He's same age as these folks' parents. These parents watch this man play ball. They already, for lack of better words, idolize the man. I ain't going to idolize him in that way. So they look up to this man. He was their favorite athlete. And so when you look at it, this black man, y'all want all the emphasis on black. The point is his blackness gives him advantage. Why does it give him advantage, guys? Because when you look at how many players in the college football are black? Like we look at the NFL, the NBA. What percentage of them is black? Give me a random number. Throw it in the chat. Let's say 70% of the top schools, the Alabamas, let's say the top 25. What's the percentage of black to white? And then let's go deeper. What positions are they? Like typically the black players who are on the team, they are your skilled guys. They are your athletes, right? They are your guys who run the fastest typically. 9 times out of 10, they are the freak athletes at receiver and running back. Now they've been for a long time having the quarterback position maintained white. It's kind of like golf and tennis and stuff like that. Hockey, they want to keep that white. And that's what the whole struggle with like Michael Vick and all that. It's been a struggle at the black quarterback, but it has changed over the last decade or so, where you starting to see black quarterbacks making their way into the NFL. But it was a fight for a long time. So like you take that, what else do we have? Now the line used to be the same thing. You used to want to have a white offensive line, right? So you got to look at the fact. As you say, Colorado have a white, I mean not Colorado, but you say you have a white offensive line. That used to be the thing. You didn't trust the line unless it was white. Now you see big old black linemen for the last decade or so. Look at old Odom, big Odom, blindside tackle. You see Alabama goes, a lot of them boys black. You used to be on a big old white, like Nebraska and all that. Now you see big old black line. We got Colorado full of big old black line. That was unheard of when I came up. It was be white at line, white at quarterback, everybody else black. Now they don't took over quarterback and line. So it's like the majority of these kids, somebody say 75, 80%, whatever. Who has the advantage now when you start letting these black coaches in? So you got to look at it deep. Y'all want to holler racism and everything. Look at it for what it is. Who got the advantage? The person who look like them, who their parents can relate to. Now you start competing with them. It's no longer about, you got to look at the big thing. Let's say back in the day, during good old racist times, segregation still existed. And you had HBCUs is where all the black kids went. People like Sterling, not Shannon Sharp, Ronna McNair. You had Jared Rice, HBCU legacy. You had Walter Payton. A lot of the greats, a lot of Hall of Famers came out of HBCUs. See, everybody like to throw this incomplete story on. Just throw talking points out like the dumb media listen to. No depth. The depth is, why did they go to the HBCUs? Because back then, the white schools wasn't recruiting. It was just off the back of Jim Crow, and they didn't even want how many kids had to fight to get to these big. You got movies about how they didn't let the kids go in the hotel, and they had to break all these color barriers all the way back from Jackie Robinson up. These movies about the first kids out on the University of Alabama and all these people that had to go through, winning the Heisman. So there was a few of them that broke through, but most of them were still going to HBCUs. And so after they start realizing, shoot, all the talent going there, they didn't want to play them. Kind of had Negro League in the Major League back in the day. They started recruiting them more and more and more to the point where the top players began to be known to no longer go to HBCU. Now they're known to go to these PWIs. And that's when that whole clash of the PWI, y'all got me in history lesson mode today. PWIs and HBUs clash. And you can say that started happening around really the 80s. Because a lot of people in the 70s and 80s were still going to HBCUs. But right in the 80s, that's when that shift started happening up into the 90s. And then it started being a thing. If you really are good, you don't go to HBCU no more. They started to be looked at a lower thing because, these were smaller schools. They didn't never have the facilities, but the talent was there. Now the talent say, I want to go to these other type of schools. And so now it's like, if it was about race and they hated them, why did they recruit them? Now they start saying, oh, we realize that's where the talent at. Forget racism. I want them on my team so I can go get me a championship because the other teams, so everybody started getting their little black players to the point where eventually what a real racist hate is, I don't want to bring them in because they're going to take over. The people brought them in like, I don't care. I'm trying to win. And then now you look at where we are now. Same thing with the NBA, NFL. Some of the most athletic guys just so happen to be black. So best thing for them coaches who brought them in and say, I'm gonna get all these black players. The best thing I could do is stop the black coaches from coming in because I want to keep my advantage. I just got my advantage. I got my black athletes, and they still over there being racist. And I'm gonna get a bunch of black. We're gonna beat the mess out of them until they catch on. They're gonna get their black players. But now I look at the other coach and we say, okay, we got our little thing. Let's keep it in together. We can't let the black coaches come in because now they're gonna start taking the black kids just like the HBCUs used to. So we're gonna let them coach at the HBCU level. So now you got the great HBCU Coach Robinson and all these great these guys coach at in the SWAC, enemy at, but SWAC legends. Put a lot of people in the NFL. They never got a chance to coach at the level of what Coach Prime is at. Fast forward to Coach Prime. Coach Prime is aware of this legacy. So what you're really looking at with Coach Prime is now Coach Prime is a pioneer. It's other black coaches that have coached, but they didn't do it they had to do it the regular way. They had to go through the ranks, and do the good old boy way. The good old boy way is start off as the water boy, grad coach, whatever, and work your way up. And we got to let you in, But you usually don't see a guy start at the HBCU ranks and going you had to start off in their system and work your way through their system and go through whatever you went through. And when you got there, you was appreciative and you was loyal to the system. But when you got a guy who skipped your system, come in with his own resources, his own way of doing it. Oh no, well, this guy gonna come in and what makes him even more of a threat. One, he's not a part of us. Two, he's gonna do his own way. But now he could be that guy who we've been fearing for so long to take all these black players and really just we can't do nothing with him because everybody might go to him and he can take his pick. That's what makes him dangerous. If anybody gonna do it, it's gonna be somebody in our system. Somebody in our system gonna do it because we can control them. We can control them. You can't control a guy who didn't do it your way. But even worse, he gonna do it with the persona that the other black coaches ain't and can't do it because they had to come in with button up. They had to come in through the system. They had to do it straight and narrow. They had to do it according to the book. He come in, shades on, gold chain, playing the rap music. He doing everything that the other black coaches would never do. They would do it, but they know better because they know the system who brought them in will get their butt fired and will blackball them. But when this guy come in, they say if you didn't make me, you can't break me. This guy came in, nobody really gave him a hand. He went straight through the AD. He didn't go in through being Nick Saban's little side boy for some years. You have to go work for me and prove yourself, and I'm really your overseer. He didn't have to go through that. So because he didn't have to go through that, he's more likely to do it his way. And his way is really cheating to them because they can't do it. The black coach can't do it because they're going to use it against him. And he don't have the leverage and the influence and the pull to even try that mess because wherever he do that don't work, they're going to use it against him. Versus Coach Prime can do it, and he's going to win one way or another because you're going to have financial benefits tied to it. You're going to have exposure tied to it. So even if he don't win on the field, it's like we won. That's why everybody else can't do it. But you also know people throwing around, Coach Prime, that was year one, guys. You talking like he been there 5 years. Everybody hoping that this man keep losing, but the reality is it's not looking that way. And nobody talking about that. It's not looking like he finna lose again. He went and got way more talent than they expected, faster than they expected, in a very significant way. Like he went and rebuilt his whole O-line in 1 year. You say, he got a whole new team. Exactly. You expect him to keep the same team. So you can talk about the same, because everybody else got to keep the same team. Then he just so happened to just time himself right in the portal era. In the portal era where he could do it. He ain't got to build a team slowly now. It plays in his favor because he got the gift, he got the mouthpiece, he got the credibility, the influence to pull whatever he need if he had the time to do it. Last year he had a short window. He came in half of the year all gone. He didn't get to recruit the whole cycle. He came in just for the spring, and then he took what he had. This year he had a whole full calendar of recruiting for the next year and the next year. So you put his name, his brand, his gift of gab together, and everybody like, that's not fair. He didn't win. Anybody else go 4-8 can't recruit top linemen and top players, but he can. Then they say, well, oh, so if he mess around and win for real, it is a wrap because he pulling off his name alone. Once he showed that he can win, which that's their way of recruiting. Hey, we're Clemson. We've won national championships back to back in Alabama, and that's their way of marketing. His way of marketing is, I'm gonna help your child be ready on and off the field. I'm gonna help him build a brand while he's in school. Forget after school. I'm gonna help them. I'm gonna help them be a man. And these relationships that I got, need everything tied to me. Your son and you got access to it. Now, this is bigger than football. And his life clearly bigger than football. This man doing commercials. This man got everybody NIL deals. He got his own media company, what we call it, and that well off. That's his own media company. And it's like he's showing you on camera how to build your brand way bigger than football. His son and his play son, Travis Hunter, both on the same team, are the highest NILs in the country. And both of them came from a SWAC school. I'm going to say that again. How ironic that is. You wonder why Travis Hunter went with him. He did never benefit. Yeah, he would have the prestige and the look at Georgia. But this man, his brand up under Coach Prime, all that exposure that he have, and opportunity he has, tied to a guy who really know how to brand himself. That was a smart business move by Travis Hunter. And his son been groomed up under it. They are the top in the country. And both of them only been in Power 5 for 1 year. I'll wait for y'all to do that math. They both are in their second year. Yet, they are making more money off the field than all these other big schools. So what he's clearly showing you, it ain't about the school. It's about who is attached to. Because Nick Saban was a brand. That's why he had commercials too. Alabama and Nick Saban came together was a powerful brand when Nick Saban had built a reputation before that. LSU, it was just a good marriage. Coach Prime has found a good marriage with Colorado because they was willing to give this man a shot when nobody else was willing to give him a shot because he wasn't part of good old boys. They were smart. And that makes them a good marriage because they have did nothing but benefit. The city has benefited. The school has benefited. Colorado, you really look at it, see nobody talking about this. Colorado, all the other sports are benefiting from it. And they on the cusp of being a brand in basketball. The girls and boys basketball did well. They just put several guys in the NBA. Nobody's talking about that. But the local, the people who deal with Colorado. Well, he went through the system. You didn't get Notre Dame as you went through the system. See, Notre Dame wouldn't have ever recruited or never hired. What's going on? They would have never hired Coach Prime because they was looking for a cliche coach. And that's why Colorado was smart. Other schools, Auburn could have had him, but they wanted him to look like, oh, you just come do it, but you got to look like this. You got to do it like this. We got to make you look as close as normal as everybody else. Colorado didn't put that demand on them, and they benefit. And the fact that they did it with him when nobody else knew him, he has an ability to build something, like he said there, that he could do anywhere else because everybody else got the legacy they want to fit him into. He got a chance to build his own legacy, not just winning sports, but how they do what they do. He got a chance to rebuild it all, how they recruit, how they market. He can make it all fit him. You go to Auburn, you got to fit their mold, how they're going to go do it. Florida State, you got to fit their mold because that's the good old boy system. Colorado, as long as they allow him to do that, as long as the AD is there, they got something good. They better not pull on Jackson State because Jackson State got to start smelling themselves. I'm going to be real with you. Jackson State said, hey, what's going on? Jackson State was like, we was this before you. Jackson State, we could have did this without you. Jackson State didn't want to really give him credit for what he's doing. Not that he never tried to take credit from him, but they were so busy taking credit from him. And it was short-lived. And that wave they rolled, it ended when he left. If it was about them, why that wave ain't still going? It's a different kind of wave. It's a different kind of exposure. It's a different kind of support. That resources, it's a different everything. And for you not to respect that, you didn't deserve it. And as long as Colorado respect, yeah, we won that championship before. Yeah, we a Power 5. As long as you respect what he doing right now, as long as you respect what he doing right now, you good. You good. But once you start devaluing that, you might mess around and see it go somewhere else. And that train gonna take all the resources and all the support with it. And you're gonna see how many people hang around. You're gonna see how many people hang around. We got to realize this is a special thing. We've seen it once and we're seeing it again. Like I said, after year one, everybody clowning around, talking about this, that, and that after year one. And then they can be the first one to run the high on Colorado, run all over people this fall. And then they're going to move the goalpost to make themselves sound right. And hee-hee-ha-ha. But it ain't going to be no hee-hee-ha-ha matter. But this is a significantly better team. This is a significantly better team. And the way it's looking, when you look at how young the offensive line, the pieces they have, and the pieces they still bringing in, top quality linemen, they're not even including the portal. And the way that defensive line is pretty young. A lot of them guys coming back, they're going to lose a few of them. But the depth they building there. And the secondary is really, they got some young cornerbacks coming in. And, Silman Craig and Shiloh going to be leaving at safety. But they got some young safeties coming in as well. I'm talking about they got some years. Offense, like I said, they get Juju or something like that. That you only seeing something that's gonna keep rolling. It's not gonna be a rebuild, like you've seen in 1 year. And that's what they're afraid of. They see the pieces he's already got committed to 4-on-8. When people say 4-on-8. And look what he got. Look what he got. Clown only proving your point. 4-8. And look what he got. They're gonna jump off the bridge head first with ankle weights on if he win. He win. Because they know good and doggone well if he doing it without winning, they hate to see it when he winning. I'm just saying. But I had a good time with y'all today. But we kind of did a little inspiration, motivation type stuff. And I appreciate y'all time. Make sure y'all like. Make sure y'all share. Make sure y'all subscribe. Matter of fact, thank you for subscribing. For those who are here with us live and those who are watching replay, when you get home from church later this week, or later this month, later this year, years down the road, appreciate y'all for coming through. And I'll be getting back with y'all real soon. Y'all have a good rest of your Sunday.